Hi, welcome to It's So Friday. I'm Elizabeth, and I'll be your host today. We've taken a few months break, but we're back. And we're back and ready for Christmas. Today, we are going to be working with Holiday Flourish. I keep almost calling this a winter's line, but it's Holiday Flourish because we're ready for the holidays and you need to decorate for the holidays. And so we are going to be working on this quick and simple frame poinsettias mini quilt. This is a really fun quilt because it gives you the opportunity to try mitered corners. And if that scares you a little bit, don't worry. I haven't done it before now, at least on this project, and I think we're going to power through just fine. So what you're going to need is the pattern, which you can get on the Robert Kaufman website. Follow the link in the profile. You'll know you have the right one when you have the one that says Frame Poinsettias Mini Quilt. Well, it says Frame Poinsettias, but you'll know it's a mini quilt because it'll say 24 inches square. The other great thing about this too is that you could make it as a wall hanging, or you could actually finish it as a pillow and decorate your couch for the holidays. So once you download your pattern and you get it all printed out, you will have all your cutting directions. And the next thing you need is your Holiday Flourish fabric in stores now. This collection gives you a lot of different options because there are actually 58 different fabrics in the group. They all have beautiful metallic accents to give you that little bit of holiday sparkle. And the collection includes a full width print as well as a panel. And there are 3 color story options. So if traditional red and green isn't quite your jam, we also have a blue story and a scarlet story. And you can get them in a wide variety of pre-cuts, including charms, 10 squares, roll-ups, and of course, the fat quarter bundle. All right, so jumping right in with the other things you'll need today. You'll need your pattern. I have a large Omni Grip ruler here. This one maybe is a little bit longer, but you'll likely want one at least like 18¼ inches long because there is a long strip you'll need to cut. I like to have some sharp scissors for if I'm going to chain piece, which you do. I have my marking pen, which you'll need. I have my seam ripper, which you always hope you don't need, but you always like to have nearby. I was at a guild meeting last night. One of the gals was telling us that she named her seam ripper because she spent so much time with it. So does anyone out there name your seam ripper? I'm curious. I haven't thought about a good name for her yet. Maybe Martha. I don't know. And of course, you're going to want a super sharp rotary blade. We are using an Olfa blade, and I always like that feeling when I just change my blade and it's just like butter. It's great. All right. So you'll see really clearly in your directions you're cutting, well, which print you'll need, and then the next page will show you what your cut sizes need to be of each of the prints. So as I went and did all my cutting ahead of time, I was crossing it out, checking the picture, and making sure that I had the fabrics lined up where I wanted them, so that everything would turn out great. And because this quilt is set up into 4 quadrants, you'll see that it's the same in each one of these quadrants. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so what I've already done is I've pieced 3 of the quadrants, and then we'll piece 1 live here so you can kind of get a feel for that, but that you don't have to watch me piece the same thing over and over and over. All right, so your first piece that you're going to cut out is your main center focal. And I did a little bit of fussy cutting here so you get one great poinsettia right in the center. And this is, I believe, an 8½ inch square. Something. I cut it right from the directions, and if we didn't, we'll find out real soon. And around this, what we're going to be doing is this will be square, and we'll be adding these great little triangle sides that we've pieced, like this on all 4 sides. So to assemble that, you'll take your fabric pieces, and I think that it helps to have, you know, a semi-clear work structure surface here so that you can make sure that you are laying them out in the right direction. It's easy to accidentally flip them and have them go the wrong way, and nobody wants that. So, all right, so I think you can see maybe on the table here. If I'm going to assemble this triangle piece, I like to start with the 2 that will make the square for the corner unit. And so just put your fabrics right sides together, matching your points. And using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, you're just going to go ahead, whoa, get out of the way, and you're going to sew. And if you'd like, oh, my foot pedal's getting away. You can just start and stop a little bit, and go back and forth at the beginning and end of your seams. Okay, this is important. When you press, you're going to want to press to the dark side. because otherwise if you have a dark fabric, it'll shine through, or it could show through your lighter fabric, and no one wants that. So we're just going to give this a quick press, and actually because I want it to stay really flat, I'm going to use my flatter spray. We love this because it comes in all these wonderful smells, and this one is yuzu, so it has a really lovely scent. All right, trim off those extra threads. Now that I have my first foundation corner square thing, I need to piece it into the rest of the block. So I'm going to line these up. Now because you pieced or pressed to the dark side, you'll see you have this little bit of fabric extra. That actually is helpful to line up your corner. Oh no, don't line up your corner with that. Don't listen to me. You want to line up your corner of your triangle with the corner that you created, and double check that you're sewing the right side, because if you sew the wrong side, it kind of ruins the whole effect. Let me see. All right, let's see if that worked. Oh, it worked. Look at that. When you press that open, you have almost part of a triangle. So let's do that again. And now if you're doing this for all 4 segments at the same time, you can piece, you know, this section together, just this part together 4 times, and then add this piece 4 times in a row, and then add this piece 4 times in a row. And doing that in a row in a chain piece like that will keep it so that you don't accidentally piece the wrong sides together, and I don't know, make it go really fast. Plus then you're always ironing the same direction. It's kind of fun. And you can go like, whoa, with your chain piecing and hold them all out in a long row. All right, so we're going to press this out of the way. All right, so now I have this lovely crisp triangle unit that I've made. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to gather all 4, it's like magic, I already had some made, and I'm going to attach them to each side, 1, 2, 3, 4 of my square. So when you lay this down, if you are a pinner, you should pin. If you aren't a pinner, you could just go for it. I'm not a pinner, so I'm just gonna go for it. You want to try and keep it evenly spaced so that you have the same amount on each side. And that will make sure that your points are nice and crisp. So I'm gonna sew. Make sure that you're watching the top and the bottom layer of your fabric so that one of them is not sliding out from under you. All right, so you can see I just attached this side here, and I have a nice crisp point. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side before I even press. Because, you know, the fewer times you have to go back and forth to your iron, not everyone has their iron right here. Sometimes you have to like walk across the room and iron, and it's an ordeal. So, all right. And I'm gonna sew again. We're sewing. Oh, and if you have any questions about what we're doing, or what's up around Robert Kaufman, or what kind of sewing machine we're using, or any of that, feel free to ask. Yael's behind the camera, and she will holler out the questions to me, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. All right, so now we're going to press, and yeah, we're going to press. Just going to keep all the points together. I think I kind of cut off a little bit of a point here because I got distracted talking, and so I'm going to fix that. My seam allowance got a little bit more generous than that 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to take out, I'm not going to take out the whole seam because everything else looks pretty good, and you know, I don't want to.
Someone has asked if this is a free pattern. Yes, it's available on our website. It's called, how do you pronounce it, Elizabeth?
Frame Poinsettias.
There we go. That's what the quilt pattern is called. You can find it.
And it's just following the link in our Facebook Live post, and it'll take you right there. Okay, I fixed it. Now the point is perfect-ish. Yeah, it's pretty perfect. It's a nice looking point. So now we have this like kind of weird shaped little thing, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to attach the other sides of our square, just one at a time. And at this point now you want your little overlap to just be about 1/4 inch. That's going to make it perfect. And again, if you're a pinner, this is a good time to pin. If you're not a pinner, just go forth bravely and see how it goes. Done with one side, onto the other side. It's already July. We're going to be singing Christmas carols for the next 6 months. We have a gal here in the office who used to do show choir, so she knows all of the songs. And whenever we get her started, she protests a little bit, but then she sings all the songs. It's really wonderful. It's my favorite.
Sorry for the camera shaking, I was laughing.
All right, and again, we're just going to press now that we have that on, and a little bit of flatter really helps keep this nice and precise. All right, so now we're at a more interesting part of the quilt process, the part I haven't done yet. We are going to miter the corners. So, all right, we have this, and it's beautiful, and it's actually going to go on its side like this on point. And okay, so the directions have you cut your pieces, and they want you to cut for this border right here. Now the great thing about this print, and I actually cut it just like the picture, so I cut these beautiful strips of fabric. The important thing to keep in mind when you're cutting these strips is that you want to get the exact same part of your fabric, so you really want to make sure that your seam allowance is exactly the same on each strip that you're cutting. You want them to look identical so that they will match up perfectly when you miter your corners. Whoa. All right. But the other thing too is that if you're looking at this and you go, oh, I love everything about that quilt except I just don't love that red border. Fear not. Look at this great stripe print. You can choose any part of this design to cut for that border. So if you really love this floral and you want that to be the border, that's what you can cut for your border. You can have like that little bit of green and some flowers. If you like this kind of candy cane stripe with that little floral design and that little bit of green, you know, it's just about 3 inches. It's just a little under, so you get, you know, you get your choice of what you want to cut. So I'm gonna put that someplace safe. All right, so this border says, I'm gonna read the directions. This is not my strong suit, but it's a thing I do sometimes. It says, center and pin one inner border to the quilt center. Sew the border starting and stopping 1/4 inch from each corner of the quilt center. All right, so before I get started, I'm going to mark on the back of this quilt piece that we made 1/4 inch in so that I know where I'm stopping. And I'm going to go from both directions because I'm, you know, eventually I'll be stopping there. And actually, I can just measure 1/4 inch and mark. Okay. And this is so that I know where to stop sewing. And the center points of this block should be, if you've done everything correctly and all your seam allowances are good, the center point should be right there, like right at that top point of the big block. Okay, marked almost all my quarters, so let's mark my corners. Okay. And now I'm going to take my first one, and I think that I had to be consistent on this, so I'm going to have this part be on the outside and this part be on the inside. So first I'm going to just fold it in half so that I can get to the center. And I'm going to give it just a light press with my iron so that it creates a little crease there. And I know that's my center right there. And now, with right sides together, I'm going to pin. I know. This project brought me to pinning. You have to. All right, I'm going to pin at that center point, and then I'm going to just turn it over. I'm not going to pin anymore because I don't like to, and I'm going to keep this side on top so that I can see those little dots. That way I know where to start and stop with my sewing. So it's good if you have a foot that's a little open for this so you can see it, but again, you're using your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you're just going to sew from 1/4 inch point to 1/4 inch point. All right, let's see how this goes. Keep in mind I haven't done this before, so I might hang out with Martha, my seam ripper. All right. So now I have a piece attached at the side, but it stops 1/4 inch in. And I'm going to do this on the other side too. Again, be careful or be mindful to put the same side. So I wanted this to be on the inside again. Otherwise, you're going to end up with like a weird, not connected mitered seam corner design. Won't have the same effect. All right. So I just marked my center by folding in half and pressing. And now I'm going to pin again. Oh, it's a long pin. Okay. And turn over. And sew. This is the scariest part of the whole quilt. So if you can get past this part, you'll be like easy going the rest of the time, and you'll have a new quilting trick up your sleeve. And whenever anyone asks like, well, how did you do that? You say, well, Elizabeth did it live on video, so I'm guessing it's not that bad. It's a lot easier when you do it. Let's see. Okay. And I slow down before I get to my corner because I don't want to accidentally just zoom past them and have to seam rip back up, and then it's just, you know, it's a lot. All right, so again, I have my piece attached that has about that 1/4 inch. I sewed right up to my dot. All right, now you're going to do this yet again. This is your 3rd time, and this is where it's going to get interesting. Okay, marked my center, going to pin again. And the pieces will be longer than they're longer than your block, but that's because you're going to like do this fancy thing, and it's okay. Don't trim them off after you sew them on. All right, when you attach this one, be careful that you don't accidentally sew the other piece into it. You don't want to do that. That would make it very hard to miter your seams. And again, you're starting 1/4 inch in at the dot. And sewing all the way to that dot on the other side. One more stitch and back. All right. So now we have this situation. Okay. We'll sew that next piece on. Let me read the directions again. Okay. Now it says, fold the quilt center diagonally, right sides together and align 2 of the borders directly on top of each other. Okay, so now you are going to fold this right sides together, and you want your border pieces to line up nicely, and that will make your quilt pieces line up nicely. Okay, and then it says that using this line of the quilt, this is where you're going to want your long ruler. You're going to line that up. And it says, use your ruler to draw a line from the corner of the quilt to the edge of the border, trim off the excess border along the line, and sew 1/4 inch in from the edge. Okay, so I'm going to use my very sharp rotary cutter and be very careful not to cut my quilt, because that would be a real bummer. And I'm going to just trim off. I actually didn't trim all the way in because I'm a little scared, so I'm going to use my scissors to finish that and make sure that I don't accidentally cut into the quilt. Didn't do it. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to sew along this line that I just cut. Okay. Let's see how this works. Okay. And again, I'm going to stop when I get to my stitching line because that's already connected. Okay, moment of truth. Are we ready? Oh, I sewed too far. I sewed past my line, and so when you sew past your line, you get this little rumple of fabric that doesn't look good anywhere. So you have to seam rip. Did I sew past my line? I must have sewed past my line. I don't know. Let's see. If I can't figure it out, we'll call him a quilt doctor, Nicole. She's a really good quilt doctor. She tells you all the things, how to fix the directions. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, I think, I don't know, Nicole, quilt doctor extraordinaire. I'm just gonna press it.
She needs your help.
Yeah, I need your help. Okay, so when you press it, it works, but look, when you sew it, it... Oh, I just sew, okay, I think I got it. I had to go fix it. Anyway, it's working now. You have to be really careful with these corners. They're tricky. If you sew too far, it will, it'll create that pucker. But when you sew it right, you get this really cool border. Look at how nicely that border matches up. So good. So good. Got this. All right. Let's try that again. And maybe this time, we're going to try it again with another corner, but this time I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an iron to press it, because that might help a little bit. I don't know. But never hurts to try, right? Try new things. That's what Sew Friday is all about. I'm just going to sew a bunch of things. Okay. That's looking like a really nice triangle line. Let's do this again. Okay. We're going to line up our ruler with our... I'm going to mark that little line, and we're just going to cut on it. I'm just going to be brave. Look, I just rotary cut. Fingers crossed it didn't cut off any part of the quilt there. Oh, I didn't. That's nice. Okay. And now we're going to sew that shut. My favorite is when I say, like, fingers crossed I didn't do this, and I look up and Yael's like... Okay. Let's see how that worked. Oh, that one worked a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, a little better. And when you press this, you need to press it. Press it with this part out, and that will help your little mitered triangles work a little better. Mitered corners, not triangles, you know. And yeah, a little bit of flatter never hurts, and you know, then you just quilt over everything, and it's really good then. Okay. So we have 2 of our corners down. I'm so excited. Look at that. We've got some corners. They match. Haven't done this before. Okay.
You're getting a little giddy.
All right. One more time. Okay. 2 more corners to go. You got this. It's like...
It's getting a little warm in here for you.
Yeah, like bright lights. Everyone's watching. What if I mess up? What if I can't do it? It's a lot of stress.
You did kind of mess up, but you fixed it. So
I'm supposed
okay.
to tell everybody.
No, it's, you know, you're a human.
Oh, that's what everyone wants.
You're
Human
setting
quilter.
a good example.
That it's okay to hang out with your seam ripper. Did anyone answer on if they'd name their seam rippers? Because I feel like that's a very important...
No, no one has answered yet. And if you guys name your seam rippers, apparently that is a thing.
I thought that was really fun.
Maybe people name their machines.
People do name their machines. My singer Featherweight's name is Helen.
That's a good name.
My Elna's name is Cinderella. Anita named her after the Disney movie Cinderella. In case you can put that one together. Okay, I'm ready to do this again. So excited.
We have faith in you.
Oh, so excited. Just love it so much. It's so much fun. Mitering corners all day, every day. You know what else uses a lot of like mitered corners is napkins. But I don't think it's the same. It's a different kind of mitered corners. Okay. We're ready. We're ready.
Are we?
So much stress. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Didn't cut a hole in the quilt again. I'm so happy. Every time I don't cut a hole in the quilt, I just feel like I deserve a candy or something. Like, all right. Okay. Woohoo! That one was working better. Okay. It's just what it's all about, figuring it out. Maybe not doing it for the first time live on camera and just going for it. Okay. They're starting to look great. I'm pretty pleased with myself right now. Does anyone else just sit there and sew sometimes and you like do something that was hard and you're like, I just did a good job. Good job, sew yourself. Like, I do that. I tell myself I'm doing a good job sometimes.
People are excited about how excited you are. So.
Mitered corners are tricky. This is a neat trick. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
You're just going to do it all the time?
No. Maybe after this I won't do it for a while.
Thing?
No. It's a little stressful. But it's like very, very exciting when they're done. So I think everyone should try it and then like report back. How did mitered corners make you feel today? So good. Mitered corner king. Okay. And then we press and we hang out with our soak. It helps keep it flat. Okay. Now the next step after you've got this piece on with your cool border that you've just so proudly attached, so proud, you're going to be adding the final layer, which is these large outside triangles, and you assemble them the exact same way you assembled the black ones in the middle. You lay them all out and be careful. They'll look like this. It's easy to accidentally attach the wrong color to the wrong spot, and then you have to seam rip and fix it all, and that can be frustrating. So we're going to set this aside real quick. Hang out over here. We're going to set this aside right here. We're going to look at the picture. We're going to lay out the one we're going to piece. So we have, going to lay it out for me. Okay. The green goes here, then there's a red piece here and here, and the white pieces go here and here. Whoa, here, here. Okay. And I like to approach it the same way I did with the smaller ones, where I do the square units first. Make my square units. Okay, so right sides together, match your corners, match your points. So with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And start to stop at the beginning of your seams if you want to. And let's do that again. I'm going to chain piece kind of because I told you could, so I might as well. And I'm keeping the color placements in the same spots so that I don't get mixed up. And you could pin these if you wanted to. I think they're kind of small, so you don't necessarily need to. But pinning ends up giving you really precise points and blocks. So same again, you're going to want to press to the dark side, so put your light sides, put your dark sides up, and just a little bit of flatter. And you can press. Be careful not to press your ruler, or that would be a bummer. Those acrylic rulers do not like irons. Alright. Alright, now that I've got these, you can use your scissors and just we're gonna trim them apart. Hey, I trimmed you. Okay. Put them back in their spots, and now we're going to attach their little side friends. Line up with the corners, not with the points. And so okay. So, and one more time. Well, not one more time. One more time for this round, and then we do it again. Okay. So now we're going to press again. And on these ones, like, you could press to the dark side again, but right now I'm just kind of pressing them. It's faster to press them to the light side right now, so I am. Maybe not the best way to do it. Put them back in their spot so you know you're doing things right, and then attach the last piece, and you're almost done with the part of the piecing for this. And you can see this goes really fast, so if you were to do all 4 quadrants together, it's just a matter of keeping your pieces organized. But they sew up really quick. And yeah, pre-cut everything though, so that you're not like, oh, drat, I need one more green triangle, and I put that fabric someplace safe, and I don't know where someplace safe is anymore. I do that all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. Cut your thread before you try and take it out of your sewing machine. Okay, a little bit of flatter and some pressing. Okay, and we now have 3 lovely triangle units ready for assembly. And now I'm going to take this and this and sew them into a square. So matching your points and your corner, and pinning if you'd like. I don't like, so I'm not pinning, but you could. Sew them together. Okay. Now, instead of chain piecing, I'm going to press this now, and then I will have my new square unit to attach the other triangles to. Woohoo! Woohoo! It's going to be beautiful. All right. So, lining up the corners here so they will be perfect with a perfect seam allowance. Just right. Okay. And I'm going to press this because I have to do the same thing on the other side, but it uses part of that seam allowance, so I might as well make sure that it's just right. Okay. Press, press, press. Looking good. If I do say so myself, which I do. Alrighty. Whoa. Now if you pin, this probably goes a little bit faster because your pieces don't shift. You don't have to stop and make sure they're still lined up. But you have to pin first. So. Alright. Now I've got my nice triangle unit, which is so thrilling. And there are 3 more. Okay. Now we take our beautiful square that we made, and we are going to attach these corners. So you're going to, again, take one, line up at the side, center it as best you can, make sure that the overlap on each side is about the same, and then sew. We're getting there, little by little. All right, so now you have one side attached, and you can now attach the other side too. Just exact same process. Make sure that the overlap is about the same, and sew it. Got 4th of July coming up. You're gonna have a whole day off in the middle of the week where you can just stay home and sew. And yeah, yeah, this project sews up quick, so you can make a whole bunch of these and have like a ton of pillows. At the end of the day, I don't think I lined that up evenly.
Someone's asking what you spray your fabric with before you press.
I'm using Flatter. It's a spray starch alternative. It comes in 4 different scents, including scentless, and you can find it at most local quilt stores. It's wonderful. I did not line my pieces up, so now Martha and I are going to rip the seam out, and we're going to try again. Okay, so in theory, I know you probably shouldn't do the thing where you like drag your seam ripper along the seam, because it's probably not the best, and you could cut your fabric, so at home you should seam rip differently probably.
But when you're on camera for everyone to see, you should not.
It takes a long time to do it the other way. I need to quickly take out the seam. All right, look at that, like I never even sewed it. So I really like this seam ripper because it has like a little bit at the end that you can use almost like an eraser, and it picks up all those little bits of thread that get stuck in the seam after you do a seam rip, and just gets rid of them for you. Isn't that lovely? All right, let's try that again. I was like feeling really confident, was not paying enough attention. That's often my downfall, not paying enough attention. Okay, let's try that again. Now I'm going to press. Stay. Stay, stay. Okay. And I'm just kind of tucking the fabric under the direction that I want to press it so that the seam doesn't get all wonky underneath when I press. Gives it a little bit of control. Now I'm going to just attach, I have this, which if you're done at this point, you know what? Find it and call it a table runner. But if you want to keep going, we're just going to attach the last 2 sides. And at this point, you just want to match up so it's about 1/4 inch again with the overlap.
A question about what model your Janome is.
This is the 8900 QCP. Wait, Memorycraft 8900 QCP. It is a workhorse little machine. Comes with all the different feet you would need for quilting and long arming. Well, not long arming, but free motion quilting on the machine here. I sew with it at home too, and I really like it. There's a newer model on the market now too that also has a light that pops out, like you can't see, but like right here, so that you can see even more what you're sewing. And yeah, and it has a ton of stitches, so like if you were to pop this up, it's invisible to you, so it just looks like I just know all the cool stitches by heart and print it on the thing. All right. All right. I'm just going to press because I need a tiny sewing break, so pressing break.
You're so close.
So close. You're getting there.
I'm running into things.
Hmm?
I keep running into the camera stand.
Okay. And one more seam. Okay. This would be a pretty big pillow. Kind of nice. My favorites are, I don't have any at home, but we have these like big pillows we keep around the office. So if we want to take breaks, we can like hang out with giant quilted pillows, and they're lovely. I probably should get some for home. That would be nice. Just powering through. One more seam. Okay, and press. And just like that, you've got your framed poinsettia. So at this point now you can you could turn it into a pillow, you could quilt it up and put it as a wall hanging, you could make a whole bunch of these and turn it into a big quilt that you're going to keep on your bed all year round, even when it's not Christmas time. There's just a lot of different options, and it is a free pattern, and it's such a big block, you know, 24 inches square, so all you need to do is make like a few, and all of a sudden you have like a Christmas baby quilt, or like a king size quilt for your bed, just over and over making the same blocks. So we hope you've enjoyed this, and don't forget to go look for the beautiful holiday flourish in stores now. Thanks, guys.